welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back inside the StreamYard studios for yet another exciting interview for you guys today. I am your host of the Fighting Queens interview. This is Jake, not from State Farm, and I am so excited because today this guest has had a tremendous impact, not only inside the cage, but of course outside the cage. In case you guys didn't know, her last fight, she got a very amazing unanimous decision win last weekend. And I know she's been taking a social media break, but please help me welcome in Miss Asia Cortez.
Hello, hello. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations on that unanimous decision victory last weekend. Talk about the fight and how you've been feeling since then.
Thank you. I've been feeling good. You know, I just kind of this week I just been relaxing since I came back from Connecticut. But I just been relaxing, kind of just taking a cleanse off of social media, just giving my mind a break, my body a break, and just I went back to work, and I just honestly been just eating a lot, maybe a little too much for for that's good for me. But everything's been
Uh,
really good.
Angel, I gotta say this though. What have you been eating as of late? Because I know it's very difficult to find something during fight camp that you just want to eat, but because you're in fight camp, you can't eat. What's been your biggest go-to as of late?
I'm big on sweets. So I went to
Okay.
like just different sweet spots, So me and my friends, usually on the weekend, if we're not in fight camp, then we'll go to like this place called Chip City or like Crumble or whatever, like any cookie place, and we'll go to like just try all their different new cookies. So I had went to the mall and I saw some really like good sweets over there. So I would just go get, I don't know, macaroons or just cookies or whatever it was.
Anything that can fill your appetite for sure, and I really
Yeah.
like that. I mean, I think here in West Virginia we only have like maybe a crumble, but then you got those places at the mall that make like cookie cakes and of course
Hmm.
regular cookies and all that. They're fantastic for sure. And one thing I want to get a chance to ask you, once when we get started is that we all get inspired by what we do best. Me when it comes to interviewing, you when it comes to fighting. So, what inspired you to start fighting?
Well, so honestly, I had started training when I was little. So my parents have a gym in California. It's called Cortez Full Circle. And so like I kind of started when I was about 7 years old with just traditional martial arts.
Yeah.
And I kind of just followed in my brother's footsteps. And my dad wanted me to learn how to defend myself, of course. And I kind of just started with that. And then later on, I did a little bit of jujitsu through once I got like 10 years old. I started jujitsu just a little bit, and
Yeah.
then after that I had went to high school and started wrestling, and I wrestled through high school and college and everything. So like I kind of been in martial arts and combat sports pretty practically my whole life. But my parents, like I grew up into it pretty much, and I never really saw myself kind of like pursuing fighting, like a fighting career. But like my first amateur was when I was in high school, and
Really?
it was actually with Bellator, and they had reached out because my parents have obviously, like I just said, like a gym in California, and so they had reached out asking for a 125-pound girl, and we didn't have a lot of girl fighters, and my dad's like, hey, you want to fight? I was like, oh, you know what, yeah, sure, why not? I had just came back from Fargo from like one of the national tournaments for wrestling, and they gave us a call, and I said, yeah, why not? So I had some time to prepare for the fight, and after that I was like, wow, I love fighting. But because I had like a scholarship for wrestling to go to Georgia, I had stopped with the fighting and put it on pause and just went to school and wrestled through college. And then after I graduated, moved down to Coconut Creek over here and started training at American Top Team and just
That's really
pursued with fighting.
that's really incredible. And I gotta ask you this though. I mean, what did your classmates think of when they saw you fighting and you coming back? I mean, because I know a lot of people definitely support those that fight, especially in the high school era. So, how much did you ever have any some sort of support from your high school or anything from your classmates at all?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's honestly where I actually got my name, Asia the Savage, or like Asia Too Savage, was because they're, oh my gosh, that's too savage. Or like, oh, that's savage. I was like, you know what? Let me change my name to that. And that's how I have my Instagram name, or Asia the underscore the Savage, or Too Savage is what we put on my shirts and everything. So they were always supportive. A lot of my I'm from a smaller town in California, you know, like Lathrop, Manteca area. And when you're from a smaller town, you have so much support around you, you know. So like I had always felt that love and support. So whenever I had went to college or I had my fight, there was always, oh yes, like 209 area code, you know, like that's Lathrop, that's Manteca, you know, representing. And so like that all that love and support was always there. And I've always
That's
felt
really
that from
incredible.
them.
That's really incredible. And, I will say this, coming from a small town like this, for anybody who doesn't know, and Asia can vouch for me when I say this, when you live in a small town, they can make the biggest roar of any crowd whatsoever. You can go
Oh
to
yeah.
a football game, you can go to a chili festival, whatever you go to, they can make some sort of an impact in some sort of way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. There's always been all the love and support there from all of them.
And I really like that for sure. And of course, you talked about America Top Team, I believe that's right.
Yes. Yep, yep.
Uh, so you've been talking about joining America Top Team, and they're very synonymous with building amazing fighters like yourself. I think Kayla Harrison's been a part of that team.
Yeah.
So many different fighters. So my question to you is, how much has America Top Team helped you ever since you joined them?
Oh, it's they've helped me so much, you know, like that I would not be able to do it without them, right? You know, so like my team, yeah, this may be an individual sport, but my team, I wouldn't be able to do it without my team. And that's like my family, like the girls, you know, like they're always there. They're always wanting to come and support you, you know, like with training, like there's girls coming in, hey Asia, whatever you need, like I got you. Like if you need me to spar, I got you. Or if you need a drilling partner, I got you, you know. So it may seem like it's a one-on-one sport, but the team comes with it, you know, and I wouldn't be able to prepare for fights if it wasn't for my team and my coaches putting in all the work for me, and for the gym itself, for create like just having that atmosphere, and like just having the atmosphere for us, you know, and having the place for us to be able to train and just get prepared for the fights the way we need to.
I really like that for sure. And the one thing I would love to get a chance to ask every fighter is this: is that for fans don't know, training is a very serious thing. Whether if it's physically or mentally, there's so many great things that we love about training, but at the end of the day, there's some parts that can be hard about training. So, from your perspective, what has been the hardest part about training?
The hardest part about training is just I don't know. I think maybe the cut in it all, like if you're going down in your weight, you know, like if you're going down to like 115, 120, whatever weight class you're at, you know, I think just the cut is what kind of sucks about it, because other than that, I love training. I love going in to train and be with my teammates who are my family, my friends, you know. And I don't know, like I love the whole process of it all. I think the whole thing for me is I love to eat. So the hardest part about the training part is that I have to restrict myself and be disciplined and not go into all that temptation and wanting to eat the cookie when I want to eat the cookie, you know.
I
But I think
really
that might be the hardest part, you know. And sometimes, you know, training at such a gym like American Top Team, you're training with some of the highest level people there are, you know. So like sometimes you're not going to win all these rounds, you know, like you're going
right.
to go in and sometimes you're going to think, man, am I made for this, you know. Like there's times where I would be like, man, am I right for this? Is this like the sport for me, you know? But then I got to remember, like, these are high level people that I'm training with, and then it encourages me, you know? So sometimes you get down on yourself, but then you look back on it, no, like, this person's a world champ, you know? Like, that encourages me, like, no, like, I'm training with the right people, you know? You don't want to be the best person in the room. Otherwise, you know, then how are you getting better, right? You need somebody that's going to be better than you, that's going to push you and train harder. So I
And
guess it's all just about perspective.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, you're good. No, I was just saying, like, I guess it's just all perspective when it comes down to it.
Yeah, one thing I really love about America Top Team, and I've seen how much of a bond you guys have grown inside the gym and outside the gym. It's really amazing to see how many fighters like yourself that they have made to become where you guys are. I mean, they're amazing, they're incredible. It's always amazing to see what you girls do in the cage. And what? There's one thing that really caught my eye. So I was watching your interview before I got things ready. You had an interview last week with Fight Bananas. Shout out
Yeah,
to them.
yeah,
And there was something that really caught my eye is that for people who don't know, you are a very, I wouldn't say spiritual, but you're more like a faithful person.
Yes,
And
definitely.
faith means a lot to you. So, how much has your faith meant to you, and how much has it helped you ever since then?
Oh yeah. So my faith had I've faith is everything to me. God is gonna be number one in everything that I do. I would not be here right now, where I'm at in life regardless. Like I would have no purpose in my life if I didn't have God in my life and him sending his son Jesus to die on the cross, like that there would be no point of me if that wasn't in my life, like he is my rock, my my savior, he is my foundation, right? So I give all the glory and all the honor to him for giving me the abilities, for giving me the opportunities, for giving me a place to stay, a job over here in South Florida when my family's in California, a gym that is so supportive and there for me, So faith is a big thing in my life. Like if it is the number one thing in my life is God is number one in my life. So that is always going to be part of it, you know.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that really caught my eye because when I saw the interview, I was like, I definitely wanted to get a chance to just hear everything about your faith, and it's very inspiring for anybody who struggles with depression, anxiety. I mean, God loves us all. I mean, He loves us when we're whole, He loves us when we're broken, and it's a
Exactly.
very beautiful thing. And I love what you're doing as far as your faith. It can inspire others like myself, and it can inspire anybody that's watching this because
Yeah.
you never know what your testimony could do. It can make such a big impact that you will end up getting messages saying that your testimony has inspired me, your testimony has did this.
Yeah.
It's like God is blessing them through you.
Yeah. Exactly. And like I said, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for God, right?
Yeah.
I have the abilities because of him and I have the opportunities because of him. This people like I want when people see me, I want them to see his faithfulness over my life and that when they put God first that they can have that same thing and they can have that freedom, and regardless of what your circumstances may be, you're going to have joy.
Yeah.
You don't fight for victory, you fight from victory, and that's because Jesus died on the cross and he had already won the battle for you. So if that's a message out there for somebody, I would hope it would be, like you're not fighting for that victory. God has already won the battle for you.
And I will tell you this though, as far as the way that and I will say this. The suicide has been going crazy around here lately. And for one, it's okay to not be okay. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
taking medication. It's not the easiest thing.
Yeah.
But yet I see what you girls do. I see what you girls do through God. And that is to become warriors as you should. Warriors inside the cage and warriors outside the cage. And my next question to you is, mentally it can make us, be in such a better place when it comes to fighting, and yet fighting has put us to just makes us go happy in so many ways. And my question to you is, how much has the sport helped you out mentally?
It's I mean, like I told like I've always done like sports, right? So like I can't honestly imagine my life not being in any sport.
Yeah.
Like it whether it be like in combat sports or like in high school I did some volleyball, I did some soccer. I wasn't very good at soccer, but like I just did it because my friends were in it. But but like I don't know, like I can't even tell you what my life would be without sports. I think um yeah, I don't even know. Like I'm trying to think of like I don't even it's affected me a lot obviously because like it's still in my life and I just can't imagine my life without like I guess competing and just being on a team and just being out there just being able to compete. But
It,
it's been a huge impact on my life.
And one thing I can say is that, for anybody who is struggling with this mentally, first of all, go get the help you need. And second of all, if you have a gym anywhere near, if you're in a small town, big town, I'm sure any sort of gym in your area, even if it's a 2 hour drive, will have some sort of gym. Because when I tell you this, when you walk into a gym, if you're not being loved by your own family, then that gym will treat you like your own family. The
Yep.
person that you're training with may not understand you outside, but they will understand you here.
Hmm.
And that's something I think about when it comes to America top team. Like something I always think about is that we all need a group of people to have our backs. And
Yeah.
I can honestly say is that fighting has made an impact. And I'm just an interviewer. I've been doing this now for 3 years.
Oh, that's
And I've
awesome.
seen the impact that it has made on me because I get a chance to hear amazing stories like yourself and so many others. And yet, if I could be able to do something with this and make an impact on my life, it doesn't matter if you're a fighter, interviewer, a guy selling cotton candy in the fifth row, this sport will make us have such a tremendous impact in so many ways.
Hmm. And that is true, like how you said, like you just need to find like a local gym, or honestly any like a local church would be really good too, like finding a community that is going to be there for you, like this is the enemy wants to isolate. So if you're going through a lot, that's like attacks from the enemy, like if you're going through like the depression, you're trying to isolate yourself, right? A lot of the times, and you're trying to stay at home and you're not trying to go out anywhere. That's because that the enemy is trying to attack you, but God has given you the authority to cast that away. You cast away the depression, you cast away the anxiety, you cast away your worries, because that's all those anxieties, that worry, that depression, that's all from the enemy trying to keep you out of community and living out the purpose that God has called you to be. And God has called you to be in a community, serving him and putting him first, right? But you want to make sure you're finding a community, whether that be in a gym, whether that be at a local church, whether that be in any type of sport, but you want to make sure you're surrounding yourselves with people that could lift you up and bring that light out of you that you are called to live.
I really like this conversation because there's not really many interviews that you be having conversations like this. They always try to focus on the positive, but yet I really feel like that we need to get down deeper because you know what, people need to understand God. People need to understand Jesus. Because you know what, if I could say this, if I had $1 for every time I got knocked down, and no matter how many times I didn't want to get up, I still get back up and I'm still here today. And you know what? That's one thing I can say about as far as this passion for what I'm doing, this passion to try to give you girls the stories, to be able to have the opportunity to share them. And just
Mhm.
from listening to your story, it inspired me a lot already. And yeah, this is literally my first time I've ever talked to you outside of the messages just to get this thing going. It's such a huge blessing. I can't tell you how proud I am of you because it's
Oh,
a blessing. It's amazing. And trust me, you got a fan already. Even though I have
thank
my
you.
invisible foam finger, I'm in the corner.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course. And of course, there was something we got to talk about is that your last fight, it was last weekend at CES MMA. You had a phenomenal win. It was a unanimous decision victory over a tough opponent like Miss Erica. Talk about that fight and talk about the mindset, the fact that you got a chance to have your hand raised, knowing it was the unanimous decision.
So the fight in itself, it was just it was amazing, like I love like the whole process of it all, right? I've been trying to find a fight for a little bit already since my last fight in last year of September. So I've been back in the gym. I've been trying to train and like look for different fights. I was trying to find a fight for May, for June, for July, and nothing was coming through, so then I was actually supposed to fight, I think July 26th, but then there was no opponent found. I was going to be on a certain event, and then there was no opponent, unfortunately. But then someone that was helping me named Joe, he was able to find somebody for me with CES. That's when we found Erica, and she was looking for an opponent. And I was like, oh well, there's a fight August 9th, and if you want to go, I said yes, please, let's do it. So I was super grateful to have the opportunity to be able to fight again and step in there. I just wanted to be able to just showcase, hey, like last year September, that's not all I had for you guys. Like I am in the gym, I am working hard. I want to be able to show you guys what I'm that I've been working on.
Yeah.
Mhm. So it was such an amazing experience. I was very grateful for the opportunity. It was a lot of nerves, because it was her hometown, so there was a lot of booing going on. But
I figured that was gonna happen.
yeah, it's gonna happen. It's okay. I was just like, okay, cool. Like that honestly kind of brought like a little fire in me, and I was like, you know what, that's fine. Like I don't mind being the underdog. And it was really cool because Erica was such a sweetheart. She was like, I didn't want them to boo you. Like that wasn't me. I never told them to do that. So bless her heart. She was such a sweetheart. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Good promotion. It kind of tricked me up a little bit though, because it was my first time fighting in Connecticut, and the commission wasn't allowing me to wear my contacts. And I have always fought with my contacts. I've always trained with my contacts, like competed with everything with my contacts. So
Yeah.
then they were telling me I wasn't able to fight with my contacts. I was like, oh, um, okay. I was like, let me make sure I can see, and so like I was able to, and thank God, because I was worried and that was kind of getting into my head a little bit. But thank God, I know God showed up for me, and He was able to allow me to get through it and get it done, and I was very happy about it. But like that kind of shook me in the beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never done this before.
Oh
It's
my
okay, we're gonna
gosh.
do it by faith, right? Not by sight.
It's like like I hate to say this, but it's like a weekend moment. Thank God I'm not blinded by the light.
Yeah, literally. But it was a lot of fun
Oh,
regardless.
that's awesome. Of course, shout out to Erica. You know what? The one thing I really want to get you to talk about is that from your experience from high school to where you are now, do you ever kind of just look back on this experience? Do you ever kind of look back as far as how you started to where you are today? And do you ever just get those moments?
Oh yeah, definitely. And when I look at back, I like who was a part of the whole journey, who has helped me, who has been there, and I look back all the way through high school, even before high school, and I'm like, man, I'm blessed. Like I can't think of I'll just sometimes just sit on my own and I'm just like, wow, this is such an amazing life. Like I am blessed to live the life that I live, just being surrounded by so much love, and regardless of like how circumstance, like my last fight, how I was unfortunately I wasn't able to win the one in September, my pro debut, but how blessed was I to be able to be on such a card like that, to have someone reach out and ask me, yeah, will you fight on this card? Yes. Like how it just the whole journey in itself makes you just I don't know. I feel so blessed and grateful for everything and looking back on what I went through to get to where I'm at, and I don't know, it just makes me really happy.
Yeah, I definitely don't blame you. And, before we get to our final question, even though you're taking the social media break, I definitely want everyone that's watching this live to please go follow Asia at Asia underscore the Savage. Once when she gets back on, I'm sure she will appreciate every message, every
Yeah.
like, every comment that has been given because you know what's so crazy is I've not got a chance to know you until before your fight, and I was like, okay, I see what she can do. Then after the fight, I'm like, okay, I gotta get her on here. And
Oh.
thankfully, you accepted it before you went to go take your social media break, which is a very huge blessing. And of course, this question is gonna be a very tough question. So, are you ready for this one?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
So, we all get inspired by what we do best. Me, I just want to be recognized as that one cheesy interviewer who takes the time to be able to do something I love. That's giving you ladies the story, to share your stories, and have the opportunity to just inspire others like myself. But you, as a fighter, you want to be recognized for something different. So my question to you is, what's something you want to be recognized for during your time of fighting?
I just I want let's see. I want, like I said before, I want when people see me, they just see God's goodness and His faithfulness, right? So, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be, yes, the spotlight's cool and all, and whatever comes with it, it's awesome and all, but like, I want when people look at it, like they see a light and they see Jesus, and I want them to see that faithfulness over my life. And so, when that spotlight and that platform comes, I want them to see me pointing to Him and that I wouldn't be able to be there without Him, and I'm trying to make sure people know, like, trying to just spread the gospel, right? I want to have a platform, and just like let people know that for I'm sorry. I'm losing I'm
You're
just trying to have a
good.
platform that way they people when they see the light that Jesus has put inside of me to be the salt of the earth, and that way what He has called me to be. I'm sorry, I'm losing my my tongue, but
Trust me, I have those on a daily basis. And the one thing I can say about this is that God is definitely good, and He's always going to be good. And if you've been lost, trust me when I tell you, you're not lost. You have already been found because if you don't have a platform, then just go to a small church, just go to a big church, any sort of church that is nearby. And just like when it comes to a gym, I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms. And I gotta say this, before we hop off here, just for having you on here and seeing and hearing the stories that you've been sharing about your faith, about your fighting career, about everything that you've been doing. First of all, get ready for Cheesy Jake, but I'm not worthy, first of all. I'm not worthy. Second of all, it's definitely been an honor because but it's like I said for my story, and you'll read it once when you get back on, is that I do this because you ladies deserve to have your stories being shared. You ladies deserve the opportunity to get a chance to just express how you feel about fighting, express how you feel about training, express what are you doing during your free time. Anything that you do is just your stories matter, and by all means, it's definitely been a blessing. It's definitely been an honor to get a chance to have you here. And I hope you know that you got plenty of support from myself and hopefully from many others in either days or weeks, many more months to come.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hey, before we go, do you have any final thoughts or comments you want to say?
Um, I know some people from Connecticut. I have some new friends over there that they wanted me to give them a shout out. So shout out to Connecticut, my people from over there. Such a random shout out, I know, but I wanted to say that before I ended it.
Well, I mean, I think this may be the first time we've ever had a shout out to Connecticut. So
I
yes,
know,
so
it's
shout out.
just
I mean,
I
even
know
though I'm
it's
not that even though I'm not that far away from Connecticut, shout out to all you Canadian people and your
and
love
shout out to
for
my people from California. There you go.
every California. I can understand, but Connecticut,
I
the
know,
only
I know.
good thing I know about
I
Connecticut
just
is the
they just
Yukon.
messaged me on the side right now. That's why they're like, just give a shout out to Connecticut. So wanted to
I
be a
don't
person of my
know.
word.
I was gonna say the only good thing I know about Connecticut is the Yukon's women's basketball team. So shout out to Connecticut.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, Miss Asia, thank you so much for taking time out of a busy day, out of a busy schedule, for joining me and simply being a blessing. And once when I get this posted, I would definitely, even though you won't see the messages,
Yeah.
enjoy your break time from social media. I will tag you and collaborate with you as far as a clip from this live. All right?
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you
You
so
have a
much.
great
Have a
day.
great one, Miss Asia.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Asia Cortez. It was a phenomenal interview. It was a fantastic interview for you guys here today. We still have one more interview left to come for you guys, and that'll be at tomorrow. And if you guys want to see who I'm interviewing, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. From myself and Miss Asia Cortez. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, make sure you follow us at the Fighting Queens on Instagram. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I am Jake, not from State Farm, saying so long, and we'll see you guys next time.